Hi, my name is Yasmin, and today we are here with Lou from Queens Botanical Garden Composting. So, would you like to introduce yourself to begin?
Yeah, so my name is Lou Reyes. I'm the compost project manager at Queens Botanical Garden. Queens Botanical Garden's composting project is a 30-year-old program, and we do a couple of things. One of them is education. We also host a lot of volunteer training, and we do a lot of technical assistance for community gardens across Queens. And in addition to that, we have one of only two midscale sites in all of New York City that gives us the ability to divert a lot of food waste from Queens, and connected to that, we're able to distribute a lot of that compost to our communities, whether it is to nonprofits, public schools, parks, or volunteer groups that are really trying to amend their soil in their communities.
That's great.
Yeah.
Could you please walk us through the process of composting?
Every week we get right around 1.5 tons of regular organic waste or food scraps to most people, and we break that down on Mondays. We mix that with our other feedstocks, so sawdust that we source from furniture places, wood chips that we get either from Parks Department or from the trees that are here in our garden, and also we use mushroom substrates that we source from two local farms. So we make a really nice recipe of all that material, and we use forced aeration. The process from banana peel to finished compost is 4 months.
Could you tell us one moment, it can be big or small recently, that reminded you how much your work matters?
Yeah, so every day, when I interact with the public, I really am reminded of the impact of our work. Queens is the largest borough in all of New York City, and we touch all corners of it. And it's just getting emails from people saying, the workshops were really empowering, or they gave us a lot of the tools that we need so that we can do a better job in our community garden. That really touches me. Having volunteers learning hands-on how to build a recipe, or mentoring our interns. We have 7 interns right now, and just having that mentorship, building that community.
If you could wave a magic wand and you could manifest 3 resources to further your community work, what would they be?
So this is something I think about almost every night before I go to sleep, so it's definitely not difficult. More processing sites, better wages for community composters, and security when it comes to community composting in New York City.
I think those are very good ones. I wanted to know if there's any recent regulations or government activity that has been impacting your work in any way?
We're at a bit of a standstill. So council member Sandy Norris ended up introducing the bill in which there would have to be at least 1 processing site in every borough. It's moving incredibly slow. Even though we have a historically progressive city council, it's pretty difficult. So that would be amazing if we had that.
Are there any collaborators that have been especially important in the Queens Botanical Garden?
So Queens Botanical Garden is part of a network that is called the New York City Community Composting Network, and there are 13 organizations as part of that. And just being part of that allows you to share resources, talk about our frustration with our stream of funding, but also support each other. So I think that is great to be part of that network.
How do you see Queens Botanical Garden fitting into general stories about food waste, food preservation, and food justice?
So the New York City Compost Project got started by the Department of Sanitation, and we have New York Botanical Garden in the Bronx, Brooklyn Botanic Garden, and then Queens Botanical Garden as part of that. We have a very important legacy, but also responsibility, and that is to carry on that work, but also to be very vigilant about environmental justice issues. The work that we are doing is not just turning a banana peel into compost or an apple core into compost. It's about empowering communities and showing them how to recycle their organics. It's about discussing in Western Queens about how important it is to compost to remedy all the environmental issues that they're facing. It's about going into East New York and really discussing about how we need a robust composting infrastructure in public housing.
And if you have one key thing that you would like audiences to take away from this discussion, what would it be?
Everyone needs to be more conscientious about the waste they produce. We live in a society in which we very easily toss it and forget it. We need to be a lot more conscientious of where our garbage goes. I think that we always like to point fingers at other nations, but we need to start pointing fingers at ourselves and take accountability for the waste that we produce, whether it is textile waste, organic waste, plastic bottles that we don't recycle. And if my neighbors are watching that, that's you guys, So, yeah.
And if people want to get involved in composting in their communities, do you have any advice for them?
Yeah, so there are a lot of grassroots organizations, whether it is in California, New York, Texas. The local community garden is the best place to start, and if there's no one close by, start one. Be that trailblazer. And I think that is something that we need, people that are willing to take that leap. And it's okay to make mistakes. Yeah.
Right, because mistakes are the most important part of growing anything.
Yeah, right?
In an ideal world, you were to see some type of food justice in your community, what would that look like?
I really want to stress that when recycling got regulated back in 1989, it didn't include public housing. And that is really strange because I think 1 in 7 people in New York City live in public housing. So we're leaving a lot of people out, and I feel that we need to really include public housing from the get-go when it comes to compost initiatives. There's a lot of racism tied to environmentalism. By that I mean not thinking that this community will actually want to get involved because they're too busy doing X, Y, and Z. And I take offense to that. People are going to use the composting programs, but if the resource is not put there, people are not even going to think about it.
I've also noticed that when things are available to people, it's very easy for them to go and make a positive difference. But if they don't have those options right in front of them, it becomes a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Of course.